Hey witches, Mr. Overon here with Mr. Overon's Tarot Reading Services, and today I gotta talk to you all about um, tarot readers and psychics, divinators, whatever you want to call people who divine future for you or whatever else. I've been reading cards since I was 14 years old. I know I have my own set of ways that I do things that are not traditional in any means of this word, and my reading style is kind of unique as far as I know. But I've worked both as a public reader where people will just come to me and ask me for readings or whatever, and I've worked as a 800 number reader where you go to a website and you have somebody connect you and you do a reading. So one thing that really irks the hell out of readers is, this is talking about the 800 psychics, readers, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so if you come into our chat room, a lot of times people will throw a whole bunch of information at us and ask us for a free reading or an introductory reading. Well, asking for that is one of those things that seriously annoys the hell out of your psychic reader. It's not something that we can give samples on, because if we answer the questions that you've asked us in that sample reading, you've already received everything that you need to know, and you go on about your business. It is my personal gripe with working the circuits that is the fact that I get so many people asking for free readings, so many people wanting introductory readings, and so on and so forth. Also, a lot of times, if you're calling one of those 800 numbers or what have you, you are being charged per minute. Now, I understand when you're being charged a per minute fee that you want to get as much information out as possible, but at the same time asking, can you give me an intro reading, or can you just answer this question a little fast, or whatever else, no. Can't do that. Sorry, won't do that. Now, on private readings or whatever, time's a little bit more laxed. I give everyone a very thorough, not general, but very thorough reading. And I generally only take about 25 to 35 minutes per reading for what I charge to do readings. Now, the type of readings that I do, it goes way above and beyond my price point. And I keep my price point low because I do it as a service to the gods and goddesses and spirits and so on and so forth that I worship. I do this as a religious service. I don't do this as a make money get rich kind of a service. And so that's where I differ from a lot of the other readers also. My bills are already taken care of. This is just extra spending money for me. And so, another thing that really irks us as readers is testing us. First of all, do not do that. Do not test your reader or your psychic or whatever else. We're not there to jump through these hoops and run a gambit for you before or during your reading. So many times I will get people that will purposely not tell me the truth to the questions that I'm asking, and then later on in the reading get really pissed off and angry because I got the reading wrong. Well, if you're actually a psychic or you're actually a tarot reader or whatever, you should know this. Well, first of all, I never claim that I'm a psychic. Do I have psychic intuitions? Yes, but I do not practice the art of divination through psychic awareness. I read my cards. I put my cards down. They tell me a story. As I'm reading the cards, I form pictures start to form, and every once in a while I'll hear or I'll have a feeling that I need to talk about a certain thing, and so I'll bring that up. I can't speak on this for everyone, but for me personally, when I do a reading, that's what's going on. So I'll get like really vacant, and I've also been told that I harp on things, so I'll constantly repeat something. I've come to find out that when I do the repetitive things like that, it's because that's what spirit, God, goddess, what the universe, whatever you want to call it, needs you to know in that moment. So if I'm constantly saying you need to refocus, you need to re-examine things, or things like that, that's what you need to hear. That's not just me like repeating myself for the sake of repeating myself. So if during a reading you are asked, are you in a relationship, be truthful with that, because the way that the cards lay out, many of the cards have multiple meanings. So if you say, yeah, I'm in a relationship, but you're not, and you broke up, then we can't fully say, okay, well, this is how the relationship is going, and so on and so forth, and blah, 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 because we are only going based on what we are told, and based on what the cards are telling us. Now, I've had people tell me, yeah, I'm in a relationship, but we haven't talked in 4 weeks. Well, if you're in a relationship and you haven't talked for 4 weeks, are you really in a relationship? I mean, unless the person is in the service and is deployed and they're downrange and you can't talk to them, then that's the only time that I could see that being a thing. But, oh, well, we took a break and we haven't talked for 4 weeks. Well, then you're not technically in a relationship. You are separated, and this person is doing something completely different from what their relationship with you was. So, technically, taking a break, putting yourself on pause, whatever terminology you want to use, that is not the same as being in a relationship. So, I've had a lot of people come to me, Mr. Overon, I'm in a relationship, and I just want to know how things are going. And I'll read the cards out for them, and like, well, we haven't been together for blah, blah, blah. Well, why did you tell me that you were together for blah, blah, for X number of months or whatever if you haven't been together? So, to me, that's very rude, and it's a time waster, and it pisses me off when people do that. And at that point, I'll just put a little note next to their name, and I'll make sure that I don't read them anymore because they tested me or they told me false information, then turn around and gave me a negative review because my reading didn't connect with them. The other thing is because I connect with energy and I connect with the reader when I'm doing a reading for somebody. If you're all chaotic and hectic and you don't know what's going on in your life, and I've connected into that energy, and I'm trying to read you, and it's coming back on me, like it's almost a physical force, like when you're trying to push two magnets together on opposing sides and how they push against each other. If you're not being 100% honest with me, or there's other things going on, sometimes I'll feel that like reverberation where it's pushing me back, and what I'm looking at doesn't make sense to me. It's like trying to read a book underwater without goggles on. You just can't really do it. It comes out kind of blurry or whatever. So, don't test us. You're coming to us to have a reading done. You're coming to us to get answers. Listen to what we say. Be honest with us. And then dissect what has been told to you and apply it to your life. Now, the future is constantly changing. If you come to us and ask us for a general reading, and we do a general reading for you, that's how things look at that particular moment. But because free will is dynamic and the world is dynamic and ever changing, what is told to you at 3:02 p.m. is not going to be the same as what happens to you at 3:15 p.m. because between that time and that time, you've made decisions, you've decided not to go to the store, or you decided to stop by Walmart on your way home from work or whatever, so you've deviated from that path. It's just a generalized snapshot of what is happening in your life at that moment. Now, there are some things that are grounded, that are like, okay, this is what's going to be happening. But in general, it's just kind of an idea and a snapshot of like what's happening and what you should expect along the way. But like, if you're calling or you're contacting a reader and asking them, hey, I have feelings for this person, what, like, where do you see things going for us? Well, that reading is, if you should get together with this person, this is what could happen. Same thing with love spells and spells in general. I get so many emails and so many people just contacting me, Mr. Overon, I want a love spell, I want this kind of a spell, I want that kind of a spell, blah, blah, blah. And we are so ingrained by Hollywood and just the notion of what magic is and how magic works and how spells and stuff work, that we expect it to be instantaneous and like right then and there. Magic is kind of like a crock pot. You set it, you forget it, you walk away, you let it do what it needs to do in the background. People are always asking, what is the time period for this spell? How long is it going to take to work? How long did it take the Grand Canyon to get formed? How long did it take for man to crawl out of the ocean to be where we are now? Like, you can't put a time limit on it. A spell is like an advanced form of prayer. You choose the god, you choose the spirit, you choose the energy, you choose all these different things. There's astrological occurrences, there's like all these different things that go into it. It's like making a cake, but not having an actual time that it takes for that cake to bake. So, it's an old school thought that once you cast the spell, you forget about it. You don't obsess over it. You don't talk about it. You don't worry about it. That it works on its time. You're putting your petition out into the universe. You're putting that energy into the universe. When you're having a spellcaster or a witch or a psychic or whoever do a spell for you, they are taking your wants and your needs and your wishes, wrapping that all up in witchcraft and the spell and the formularies that they create for you, and then casting that on your behalf with the same intention and the same like luster and energy that they would cast for themselves. But you cannot demand a time period. We can give you generalizations saying, well, you know, it could take X number of days or weeks or months or whatever else. But think of it like this. It's like you go to church on Saturday, Sunday, whenever your holy day is that you would normally attend a religious service for yourself. You go there, you light a candle at the altar, or you pray to whatever deity it is that you worship. And it's like saying, okay, well, I prayed to God on Sunday. He's going to answer my prayer by Tuesday. That's not how it works. So, you know, asking when something's going to happen, or the other question is, after I've cast a spell, I usually get a, like some kind of email or a call a day later. Hey, how did that go? How did what go? The spell. What do you mean, how did the spell go? Like, when we cast a spell or we do magic or we do any kind of working for somebody, we don't get like a buzzer or a dinger or like any kind of sign that tells us, hey, this has been done, this worked, and like get back to your client or the person or whatever and let them know that, yeah, it's thumbs up, green light, we're on our way, we're getting it all taken care of, it's said, done, signed, sealed, and delivered type. That doesn't happen. I think what is actually being asked without having the vocabulary is, in your opinion, how did the spell go? Did you feel like it worked or whatever? So when people ask me that, I always tell them the thoughts, feelings, and how I felt during the casting and how I felt after it. And sometimes I feel like a weight is lifted off of me after I've cast it. Sometimes I feel like a calming sensation. Other times I don't feel anything. Does that mean that I've done something wrong or that the spell didn't work or whatever? No. No two situations are the same. And people who claim that they can cast a spell and guarantee you 100% that it's going to work, they're just lying to you and they're just trying to get your money. So beware of those type of people. No one can guarantee with 100% certainty and 100% accuracy that something will work. Doesn't matter if they are a black magic practitioner, if they practice Santeria, Santa Paula, whatever they happen to practice. There's no guarantee that it will work 100% of the time, 100% of the way that you wanted it to work. Even back when I was a heavy black magic practitioner and I did animal ritualistic sacrifices and stuff like that, the 4 times that I've done them, and I'm not proud of that, but even then, I could not guarantee somebody that it was going to work the way that they wanted it to work when they wanted it to work. Like, the best analogy is that magic works on a pathway of least resistance. That you need to think of it as a linear flow of water. So if you are trying to change something so drastically that you're swimming against that current, you have to put out that energy and all that other stuff to make it so that you change your reality to match what you want it to happen, and you have to redirect the flow of energy. So, without getting too metaphysical and all that other stuff, that's just something that you have to take into consideration. What is the natural flow of things? And black magic is very simplistic in the fact that anything can be considered black magic. If you cast a spell to heal somebody or to bring healing into their life without their permission, that's technically considered black magic. Anytime that you cast upon a person without their permission, that's black magic. Doesn't matter if you're doing it with the best of intentions or what. That's considered black magic. Anytime that you use magic or energy or the craft, whatever you want to call it, against a person's wishes, then that is black magic. So if you're asking to have somebody fall in love with you, there has to be an attraction there already, or some sort of an attraction, in order to like latch on to and kind of direct that person to you. It's always best to cast a larger, wider net of a love spell, and instead of focusing on one particular person, putting it out into the universe that you are looking for somebody who will complement you, who will like be the yin to your yang, and that you will complement each other's lives. But if you're saying, oh, I want Johnny to love me right this moment, and I want him to not think about anyone else or whatever else, that is a love spell, yes, but that is also considered black magic, because now you are taking him and the focus that he would have for another person and trying to shift it to you, which is now going against the grain of things. And I can get into that more later in another video if you want me to, but for right now, um, just take, if you take nothing else from this video, take this from the video. Do not test your readers. Just be truthful, honest, and upfront with them. Many times we won't ask you a lot of questions up front. I ask clarifying questions, especially if the cards are reading kind of weird. I'll ask, are you currently in a relationship? That's usually the first thing I'll ask somebody. If they're currently in a relationship, if they say yes or no, cool. Because a lot of times, like I said, the cards have dual meanings. So if you're in a relationship, it means this thing. If you're not in a relationship, it means this thing. If you just got out of a relationship or you're thinking about getting into a relationship, it means something completely different. So be mindful, be respectful, and be courteous of your readers. And so, yeah. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comment section down below. If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe to this channel. If you would like a reading from me, you can head over to the website, mroveron.com, or shoot me an email, mroveron@gmail.com. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Bye, witches.